World leaders need to take immediate action to beat back what IMF Chief Kristalina Georgieva is calling a dangerous new normal. Georgieva was speaking on Thursday at Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service in Washington, D.C., before the IMF's annual meetings, which begin next week. A global economic recession is looming following a series of economic shocks, which have led to inflation as a top concern. The IMF head highlighted the importance of making bold moves to avert or at least lessen the impact of the coming recession.
In less than 3 years, we lived through shock after shock after shock. First, COVID, then Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and climate disasters on all continents. These shocks have caused immense harm on people's lives. Their combined impact is driving a global surge in prices, especially on food and energy, causing a cost of living crisis. And dealing with them is made harder by geopolitical fragmentation. Unfortunately, I am the natural optimist, but today I stand in front of you and I need to say, more likely to get worse than to get better. In other words, risks are, as we say at the fund, on the downside. Why? Because uncertainty is very high in the context of war and a pandemic that hasn't quite left the scene. And what we see, and this is very concerning, is that financial stability risks are growing. Rapid and disorderly repricing of assets, especially where there are underlying vulnerabilities, can play a dangerous role for financial stability. So this is the picture, darker than we would have loved it to be.
Georgieva warned, however, that stabilizing the global economy would not be an easy feat.
Let me outline 3 priorities, and they're really, really important, starting from stay the course to bring inflation down. We make a misstep, the cost can be very significant. Not tightening enough would cause inflation to become de-anchored and entrenched, so with us for a long time, and that would require interest rates to tighten even more to bring it down, and that would cause tremendous harm on people, but also on prospects for growth. On the other hand, if we tighten too much, too fast, and do so in synchronized manner, we can push many economies into prolonged recession.
The world should not expect a rosy 2023 forecast from the IMF next week, Georgieva said.
What is happening is we have downgraded 3 times since October last year our growth projections. Last time we brought 22 to 3.2% growth, and for 23 projections was 2.9%. We will see, we always come around the annual meetings with our World Economic Outlook, that we are further downgrading our growth projections for next year. And we will be flagging that the risks of recession are rising. Our estimate is that 1/3 of countries around the world, this is the 1/3 share of the world economy, would experience at least 2 consecutive quarters of contraction this year and next year.
Representatives from finance ministries and central banks from over 180 nations will convene in Washington for the first in-person meetings of the IMF and World Bank since 2019. Next week's meetings come amid increasing inflation and global economic shocks fueled by the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russian invasion of Ukraine.